my fellow dragons. Welcome once again to the streams. And like I said before, grab some water, a snack, even hold a plushie if you want to. Because this one, and this type of project is going to be a bit different. It's another dark theme one with a bit of essence of, shall we say, Sega flair. And I have two individuals.
Hello, I'm Edward Trooper, and I'm glad to be here again.
And I'm Shadow Harvester, back once more.
Yeah, just couldn't pretty much put down the idea of this idea of recording of, well, the specific project idea. That being the Sonic and NiGHTS crossover idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Glad it's only with two other people around here because I don't know how other members would have done. It would have just gone off the rails.
Yeah.
And people who are just entering the stream, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yep.
So yeah, as I briefly mentioned in the last stream, that this will actually have some moments of Sonic and the Black Knight, such as references and such. And hello, Ty! You are the first to enter.
Yes.
You may like this one because it contains a lot of themes and elements, and it kind of has an Archie feel to it, where it isn't afraid to get dark.
Yep. And not dark in a crazy edgy way, like wow, edgy.
So edgy. It's not like other M.
Where it just utterly tries its best to, just try to be something like an edgy, teenager's fan fiction. That still, he's going through puberty, not sure what's going on. It's like, fuck you, mom and dad.
Okay. Keep your language to a minimum, please.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I know. You're getting really into this, but try to keep it to a minimum, especially with people who you don't want to get told out by the wolf.
All right, very well.
Anyways, yeah, I saw that, Ty. You really planned that. But yeah, the ideal of, well, some elements of Sonic and the Black Knight, this originated way back a few years when I just did a little comic of Sonic. Instead of him getting just a sword, he actually released Riella, who basically just said the same dialogue, but Sonic flat out said, something about something checkerboard. Because Riella's colors actually remind him of a checkerboard.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of funny, honestly. So I guess later onwards, I was like, what would happen if this were to be an actual type of story, but something different happens? And I got some different elements. Oh, you're being grounded! Griffin, you're being grounded.
Oh boy. Why?
Because you cuss.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That was Ree.
Yes, I know. I had it coming. I can.
Well, let's just say I'll have Shadow handle his explanation with Sonic and the Black Knight. So, in case you guys don't know of the story or something. So, go ahead, Shadow.
Well, back in school, I learned about King Arthur stuff, and I was surprised that Sega released this game soon after, and basically, I kind of wish there were more of the Knights of the Round Table, because we had Sir Lancelot, which was Shadow, Sir Gawain, which was Knuckles, Sir Percival, which I'm surprised they used Blaze.
Yeah.
Then we had Sir Lamorak from the multiplayer, which was Jet the Hawk, which also I'm surprised because
actually that's referred to as Mordred, and he's not the snake from Archie.
And then there was
Silver,
Sir Galahad, which was Silver. And apparently in the story, Galahad is the son of Lancelot, which makes no sense for Sonic.
Yeah, that doesn't make too much sense at all.
But like the story that I remember, I hope because it's been a while. Basically, and in a way, Merlina near the end talks about it like it's like Arthur departed to Avalon and was struck down by Mordred.
Yeah, that actually is kind of a story feature I carried onward into the Ask the Four Mages, where Lord
Now,
Hood actually talks about that.
now, from what I remember, Mordred is basically the son of Arthur.
Mhm.
I believe Arthur was drugged and basically essentially raped by I think it was like his stepsister or something.
Okay. Didn't know
So
about
and
that
then
tale.
yeah, we had to read the book and then we watched a movie and someone in the class is like, let's watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and the teacher's like, no, 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 this is accurate to the book.
I mean, I'm surprised. This
But
is
yeah,
new information I honestly am knowing about now. Like I also mentioned in the description, warning, this may contain topics. So, yeah, I was accurate.
Yeah.
that
This
might
is
be the
quite a
most
start.
that might be the most depth I've gone in a long time. So
It's okay. It actually helped.
because usually outside at like work, me and my coworker are usually making rants about like random Sonic stuff or Dragon Ball Z stuff because he's into that.
That's
And
fine.
ironically, he enjoyed some aspects of Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Riders, which I did not expect.
Oh, don't worry, Ty. At some point, when you are free and such, you can come on the stream and we can talk something like that.
No, trust me, all the stuff I did with Monty Python blows Christian out of the water,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
especially my Knights parody,
Yeah.
which I completely ruined thanks to my interpretation of Octopaw.
But just
It
know
turned
there's
me.
always something worse.
It turned me into a newt. A newt? I got better.
We're going to fire anyway.
Okay. Don't need to get random outbursts, okay?
I know.
Well,
It is.
yeah, okay. So yeah, we got some backgrounds with the ideal of the Knights of the Round Table and such. So yeah, some of the elements from the game, they do get granted into this specific ideal project. Now, this is more of, shall we say, Sonic. Yes, let's just say it starts off. Sonic is just basically just minding his own business, just having a good old time because it's a good old day, and not much has happened for the past month and such. But then suddenly, oh, looky here,
Let
look,
me see. Oh, for God's sake!
go
Sorry.
away, Silver Fox.
Sorry,
Look,
I'm not into men, but thanks for finding me attractive.
No, it's not like that. This is basically the
I know he's a
Look,
douchebag. That
look,
starts
look,
trouble.
look.
yes.
Look, Pedro. I know why. Why are you even here? I mean, why did you want to come here if you hate us so much? I mean, like, I don't have any beef with you, but yet, like, why are you taking your time just to come here and just harass us? I mean,
That's what gets him.
Me and
That's
Chelsea already went on a rant video, already discussing about the guy. Look, if you have nothing to say, then why bother coming on here?
because it gets him off.
yeah, I don't know.
It's no wonder why the guy It's no wonder why the guy will never get himself a girlfriend if he continues that attitude. And
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Ree. Thank you, Worlds. Everyone, we're friends here. We do not treat each other horribly. And yet, thank you. Friends are welcome here. Acquaintances are welcome here. People like that aren't welcome here. We all get this?
Mm-hmm.
As
Yes.
I was saying before this fox interrupted, or bull, he goes either way. Sonic is immediately sucked in by a strange portal. And it's not a normal kind of portal. It actually sucks him through and transfers him to a much more distorted looking world. Now, here's a little something, guys, I will pretty much bring up. This takes elements from the creepypasta Sonic EXE.
Yes, and many of the Sonic fandom know that it's a very cringy fan fiction. Yeah.
And yet the guy just keeps getting more and more of those types of games, which is rather ridiculous.
I think it's more like I think people just do it for the lols at this point.
Yes, he's not even that powerful to begin with.
If you really think about it, what's that again? Basically, Sonic EXE is just a carbon copy of his persona / fursona, JC the Hyena.
Yeah, we already. I never really talked about the guy, but I know for a fact Dylan Thomas did a stream of that.
Yeah, did a good job at it.
Yeah, and just how weird this guy was.
Yeah. Meh.
Yeah, I honestly have nothing against furries at all.
I mean, I'm one, but yeah, I don't really see myself having to.
And I'm a scaly, which is kind of the reptilian version of a fairy.
I guess so. And
I ain't like that. And I ain't like those type of people. I promise you.
Yeah, the best thing to do when you if you have people that are criticizing you, the best thing to do is try to be more civil about it and not constantly having a shit fit. If you do, it makes you look more immature. It destroys your credibility.
Because you're a T-Rex. Yeah, that's fine, honestly. Anywho, so yeah, Sonic ends up in this strange dimensional world thing. It does pretty much play. Now, he was actually brought there by a certain individual who acts as the main villain. And I am basically going to show exactly who that is. Hang on. Just get the moment. If it does come up, okay, there we go. Okay, everyone, you're gonna see, and if it works, come on,
Here we go, and that's him.
Zaldo, the Demon Hog. He's an overlord, a dictator, demonic deity. Abilities: teleportation, super speed, fire, lightning, manipulation. Bio, a demonic entity that exists within a realm where it connects to Mobius and those close to it. This demon rules over with an iron fist, but in time grew bored of tormenting those living within the world. This demon takes those he sees into his twisted nightmare world, where he treats it like a game, and never gets bored on new prey. Actually liking to see how those who try and when they fail in the worst ways possible, even when they kill one another. In his words, life is a game. You see, I got a bit creative with this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's pretty much better.
This is basically what I thought EXE would have been.
Yes, what it could have been, but sadly,
Yes.
it was in more of capable hands.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah,
I mean, at first when I saw the EXE thing, I assumed it was going to be like how they did Mega Man. But
yeah, because It's called Mega Man EXE. You know, they're basically just they're basically coding in a computer world, the network.
Yeah, I remember that. That was called Mega Man Battle Network series. What
Yeah,
I have
Yes,
to what I have to give is a very good series and underrated.
it's also
Ions.
based off. It's also based off the anime.
Yeah, and manga.
Yes, of course. I actually know a few who are fans of that,
Yeah,
and I honestly don't. And I honestly don't mind.
yeah.
At least it's more better than a cringy series that basically is an edgy wannabe.
Which one is that?
EXE
Uh, which
and the
EXE are we
cringy
talking?
parts of the Sonic community.
Oh, for a moment, I thought we're still talking about Battle Network.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No.
Just joking. Not really
But
joking.
yeah, so yeah, Zaldo, he makes it very clear that he definitely saw potential in Sonic for being. He's not lying right here. Rather, he's more of easing his way, saying that, oh, if you wish to make it home, you're gonna need to have a partner, and I know exactly the right individual who'll be right for that task. You just need to find them, and when they do, just form a just you'll be able to you'll have a way. You'll find a way. Or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is something that happens. I don't really have that much knowledge of Battle Network, but yeah, and we are not getting off track from that, okay, people?
All right.
Yeah,
All right. I'm sorry for bringing that up.
It's
yeah, it's
okay.
okay.
It's just that, this is the project I do want to talk about, so yeah. So,
But
yes, Sonic basically explores, and, well, he does come across some sort of sword like. Okay, it's not really a sword, but it does appear to look like a sword. But that's basically the bait.
Hmm.
Sonic picks it up, not realizing that it's basically some sort of strange ring.
Okay.
It's a black ring. In EXE, they're meant to be bad.
Yeah.
That's basically that. And Riella, basically, he's basically woken up.
Yep.
Yeah, it turns out he was hidden by the viewable eye until someone removed that sword. And of course, it just goes how Sonic and Caliburn's interactions went. Yeah, basically, Riella is Caliburn because they're both voiced by the same person.
Hmm.
So yeah, Sonic basically he doesn't like his attitude and such, but he also would make a comment is like, you kind of sound like this one talking sword I used to team up with. I just don't know why.
Hmm.
Of course, Riella, he reluctantly agrees because he has no other choice but to pretty much team up with Sonic, since no one else was around to help him get out. Now, the thing
Yep.
is, Riella was basically dragged in because it was a trap. I'm not even kidding. He didn't really expect it. Sometimes you could get the upper hand on the first level.
Hmm.
It's mostly when their guard is down.
Yep.
Now, Riella was perfectly fine. He wasn't injured. He seemed perfectly healthy. However, well, since Sonic is basically around, that just means he needs to rely on his energy source.
Yep.
Even if Riella agrees and such, he's still taking technically the energy Sonic has, which is the dream energy.
Idiot in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like Sonic basically knows about it fully until a bit into where their journey begins. Now, Sonic just finds it rather creepy that's happening, but Riella basically makes it clear that it's not draining. It's literally just a source. It gives a power boost. Now the story basically, there are levels where it's exploration, basically finding things that are useful, basically getting equipment and such, and also they have their unique power gimmicks. Sonic with his speed does come in handy, and Riella as well other abilities, including flight.
Yes.
Now, for the most part, these two, they'll have their bickering, they'll have their senses of pretty much not getting along, but they know that they have to pretty much keep a move on.
Of course, as our villain put it, if either one of them drops dead, the other will die, vice versa.
Yes. Now, the darkest parts of this, well, let's just say they come across some tormented souls, and Sonic insists that he helps and such, but Riella, he is not fooled. He basically just kills them. Look, they're not even part of your world. In fact, this world is already considered its own hell. Do you really wish for them to suffer? You shouldn't feel empathy for something that clearly has been through so much. You know, in a way, and it's ironic, even though it is dark, Riella is right.
But yet,
Even
at the
if it's
still time, it still quite flies in the face of Sonic's morality.
yeah, so in a way, I guess you can say this is putting Sonic in the role of Edward Elric a bit. You know, where his moral is that he doesn't want to kill anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But with Riella, you can clearly tell that even if he knows it's not right and he's never really killed visitors, there's a point where you have no choice. And if they get in your way, what other choice did you have? Survival is important. Oh, and sometimes these victims turn into monsters, so there is no other choice.
Mm-hmm.
And Sonic, it's definitely getting on his mental state. He's used to fighting robots and other monsters and such, but not to a point where he's murdering actual living beings.
Of course.
But you could say Riella does attempt to try and help him a bit, saying that the sooner they get out of there, they can put this whole thing behind them.
True.
So you can say it's more of complicity between these two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes when Sonic is trying to be optimistic and such, he'll just kind of joke a bit. He'll just talk about certain themes, and there are some moments of heart to heart. Like, they'll have a sit down and just have a chat. I mean,
Yep.
it's just moments and such. I mean, what do you think, Shadow?
I mean, at this point, if Riella is basically Caliburn,
Yes.
I can basically just picture Sonic just grabbing his leg and just smashing him against the ground.
No, it's not like that.
Similar to a guitar, but I mean, I
Well,
understand. Or it's
no.
gonna be like a sword with like Riella's head.
No, someone's already did that joke.
Okay.
More of Sonic has to duelize with Riella because there are some obstacle courses that require some elements, and that includes bloodied water. Like, it's literally a blood made of blood. And Sonic can't swim. And the fact that him going in there is actually a traumatizing thought. So, yeah, Riella has to help him.
Mm-hmm.
But with the dualizing, that just makes him stronger. And well, they can take on stronger enemies. And the fact this is a limitless thing, while Knights had like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something you gotta give credit to Journey and Dreams, is that they allow you to be dualized for a bit longer, far more than the original. The time is actually generous. And also, camera is not too close. I'm not even lying on that. Now, on to basically the point with Tails. Well, he's looking for Sonic. He basically wonders where Sonic has been, since he hasn't really made contact with him in a few days. So he tries contacting him, but there's no answer. So in a way, he goes out and asks around to see if there's anyone, if they've seen Sonic, but they haven't. Not even the friends know. But then he notices there's like he then pretty much notices there's a crowd they're gathered around. Tails goes to see, and it's Knights performing in the street. Basically what Knights does best.
Mm-hmm.
Either play flute or do some flying tricks. Basically, he's just a street performer.
True.
Now, Tails doesn't know Knights. He's never met him. So, when the crowd basically clears up and such, he does ask Knights if he's actually seen Sonic. That sort of triggered a little bit of some of Knights to slightly recall, but not fully. So yeah, Tails basically left. And here's the thing. You get to play as Tails, and here's even more of a fun thing. He's actually capable of fighting. Because he's come across badniks.
Of course.
You know how in the modern games, quote unquote, the meme, Tails is relying on too much on those mechs, or he's just relying too much on Sonic to even do anything. Heck, even if Forces was the worst. And also Lost World. You guys want anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. They basically try to, because in original Adventures, it did imply that Tails wanted to get stronger so he can actually feel like he doesn't feel like he's a burden to everyone else.
That, and he didn't want to be in Sonic's shadow, basically.
But later on, it's like they didn't. Yep. It's like they forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't stand the story of Generations, but that's just me.
Yeah, there was barely a story at all. There were little risks.
Basically, Generations. So, basically, Generations was just that nostalgia trip.
Yeah, that's all I could pretty much say. And
do you remember the classic Green Hill Zone? How about you could run it in 3D?
Guys here. Oh yeah, reference to Sonic Unleashed. If I should recall, Tails didn't even know what those creatures were, and let's be honest here, they probably look intimidating if you were in his shoes. Seriously. Plus, it was dark out. How do you expect Tails to pretty much deal with something like that? He didn't look like he had anything on him, and I bet you he probably wouldn't have kept the weapon that he had in Adventure 1. He didn't have any he did not have his mech. So, yeah, Tails, at that moment, he wasn't sure if he could take those on, especially that many enemies. Small robots, yes, that's understanding. He could handle that. And, yes, that boss fight with Eggman, but that's because Eggman put obvious hit points. And yeah, there's that version of chaos, but that's aside the point.
It's just very inconsistent.
What I'm pretty much saying is that Tails is limited, just like Sonic. So yeah, with this, Tails does indeed have weapons with him, aka like dummy rings, and his little blaster. So he deals with Badniks, and he didn't realize he was actually being followed. Tails basically assumes that Sonic must have gone missing, and that it had to be something involving with Eggman. And the fact that Badniks were acting and they were around, that meant that could mean a lot of things. Connecting those dots, there you go. Tails is only guessing. He's not fully assuming.
Educated guess.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I don't buy the fact that Tails is a super genius. Yes, the kid's smart. He knows a lot of gadgets and mechanics and such. Basically, equivalency of like, I guess lesser than Dexter, and Jimmy Neutron. But you get the idea.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I'm not saying Tails is dumb. Just
I mean, he's a kid. Everybody makes mistakes, no matter how smart you are.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, by the time NiGHTS does meet up with Tails and such, that's when he basically remembered. It's like, oh yeah, you mentioned a Sonic. I remember someone like that. It was like a blue hedgehog, super fast, and Tails is like, yeah, that's him. You knew him? In one of his dreams, I did. That was quite an adventure. Granted, that was literally just a reference to the Saturn Christmas, or mainly a Sonic in the Dreams, and literally the boss was replaced with Robotnik.
Yep.
I wish they had brought that back. That would have been pretty neat. And keep in mind, people, that was Sonic's first actual appearance in a 3D game.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it was fine. Okay, what's going on in the background? What am I hearing?
No, that's my fans. My laptop fans.
Okay, that just cleared up. So, yeah. Tails and NiGHTS, they basically team up, and they basically go to see if they can find Sonic, while also doing, say, like, mini games, like collecting the rings, see who can race while flying. And yes, Tails would actually have those little booster rings from Adventure 1.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be fighting off robots, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Heck, there'll be some elements where both their abilities come in handy, like Tails with mechanics, or NiGHTS when it comes to gathering things, as well as along with music. These are just more of the lightheartedness. And also Eggman. Yes, he is in this. He does play a role in this, but he's not the main villain.
Nope.
Care to say what Eggman's role is?
Well, it's more or less that these.
Okay, your audio's getting glitched.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't quite remember. It's been a while since we talked about this.
Mentioned something about him actually getting manipulated.
Oh yeah, manipulated. Right. Basically manipulated by the main villain by, basically promising him to give him something in return, but basically, I kind of forget. It's been a while. Sometimes I have a memory of a goldfish at times, sorry.
It's okay. Well, let's just say Eggman does play a role, and he's doing that role without even realizing it. The doc actually is being a bit smart about this, but doesn't realize how foolish he is. Now, with Sonic and Riella, there's actually a point where it's actually getting tense, and, well, Sonic is getting really agitated, and Riella is just getting rather more and more annoyed with Sonic.
Yep.
And it's literally to a point where they actually do butt heads with each other.
Of course, yeah.
Sonic being frustrated, he just bursts out with his emotions and such, how frustrated he is, and how it just got to him. This was literally getting to him. Being in that world will do that to someone. And Riella, he's practically had it. Now, he doesn't fully lash out at Sonic, but he does call him out for being, well, foolish. And he admits he himself pretty much is at fault for not realizing how dangerous this world can really be, but he doesn't admit he does literally admit that he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
If anything, Riel's not even a liar, honestly. Even though he's clearly a lover deceit, that doesn't mean he's a flat out liar. Has he actually lied before in Journey of Dreams? I highly doubt it. It's more likely just bringing up, well,
the truth. The pain.
Yes. So yeah, that's confirmed. Riella is not a liar. He just uses some things to his advantage.
Just get under your skin and such.
Yeah, basically he scared the children so they wouldn't help knights defeat Wiseman.
Yes.
Following.
If anything, yeah, when you look into how Riella behaves and such, and what goes on behind the scenes, you can understand why he does it. Now, keep in mind, both of them did not admit their full-on weaknesses.
Yeah.
And at this... You know what? I would have been fine without you dragging me down. You say you were willing to help, but then why aren't you helping me at this point? You clearly care about nothing more than yourself. Why don't you do yourself a favor and just leave? You circus freak! If that's how you truly feel, then fine. Be that way. It's not like I needed you to begin with. I agreed to help you, and yet this is how you treat me. Fine then. If that's how you want to be, then I'll leave. But don't say that you didn't get this far without me because of such. Now here's the thing. Zodak wanted one of them to at least kill the other, but Riella caught on quickly, so that's why he didn't kill Sonic. But there were points where Zodak was actually tempting Riella to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a point where he almost did. Like a few times, but he restrained himself. He's not that weak-willed.
True.
Yeah, he's not that foolish.
No,
Like,
something...
when you think about it, he's not like Shadow.
Well, not like current year Shadow.
Yes.
Sega, why'd you have to ruin him? He used to be such a unique character. He's still trying to have self-discovery, and then you just turn him into basically an edgelord.
Yes, he's trying to be Vegeta.
Ugh.
At least Vegeta fights back.
Yes. And oh
Where
gosh, look at it.
Shadow's just like, you got this, Sonic.
Ugh.
And then, oh, and let's not. Oh yeah, and also how stupid he was in IDW.
Yeah.
Thanks, Flynn. We didn't need a Vegeta knockoff. If anything, Shadow is far from being like Vegeta.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sonic and Riella, they basically separate and such, and it's not a good time. Now, there are points where, in certain levels, Sonic can't get through because he needs Riella's help, but since the two are kind of in a heated right now, he has no choice but to take the long way.
Mm-hmm.
And well, Riella, he doesn't have that much trouble, except the fact that it's the polar opposite. It's more on the energy that's being spent. And the fact that he's been away from the dream realm much longer, he's getting weaker. And no, he's not dying, people. He's not. I'm not doing what Archie did. He's
Yeah.
just weak. I mean, he just becomes weaker. Like he's tired. He hasn't. Think about it. A nightmare would need to have some sort of rest, and the
Of
dream
course.
realm basically provides that. But since Riel is out of the element and such, he's kind of being exposed and vulnerable.
Of course.
But the fact there are a lot more monsters coming out and such, and Zodak is getting kind of impatient, he's gonna sick them on them.
Of course. Not really willing to show himself just yet.
Yeah, and let's just say it's a Riel does get badly hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And well, Zodak tries to convince again, and you think that Briella is going to do it. But with Sonic, the fact that he's been away for a while, in that realm, it feels like it's taken eternity. You know that line with the whole, you know what Knuckles said, and they've been torturing him for months.
Oh yeah.
But this actually goes a bit better. Sonic going through this hellscape. He thinks he'll never see his friends again. He'll never see the places he calls home. He'll never be able to see some familiar faces.
And knowing that if they're in trouble, that he's not there to help. He
Yeah,
should have done something.
it scares him, and he fears for the worst, and he himself is just getting tired, exhausted. He just can't keep moving anymore. And what do you know? There's a pool of bloody water with corpses and spikes galore.
Yep, and some of those corpses look just like his friends. They're all just screwing with him. Of
Yeah. Zodak is a manipulator after all.
course, the more misery there is, the stronger he gets.
Yeah, and he's encouraging Sonic to do it. And well, you think Sonic's gonna do it, but he in fact gets stopped by, well, Riella because he hurt him. Now he's looking at Riella and he's looking pretty terrible looking. Like he's been through hell. Literally.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it looks like his eyes were like glossy for a bit. Like something isn't right. And Sonic, he's actually panicking. But not to a point where it's absolute fear, but more of, it's like, dude, snap out of it!
Yeah.
But the fact that Sonic has grown much weaker, And no, I'm not doing this out of an Ian Flynn approach. No. It's not like that. This is different.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in the comments want anything to say on this? Because I really want to know. What do you think, Shadow, about this scenario?
All right, refresh me again.
You know, this setup. Okay, Riella and Sonic, they got into a feud. They were basically arguing, and to the point they actually went their separate ways for a little while. Both are ended up in a horrible situation. Riella's in actual physical pain and such. Like, you can actually see the injuries, but he's still moving, but he's also getting weaker.
Yes, both of them are on their last legs at this point.
Yeah, and Sonic, he's just not at the best point when it comes to both physically and mentally.
I mean, Sonic would probably ask for help, while Riella would probably just be like, try to succumb to his injuries and not have anybody good help him.
Well, I don't fully see Riella as true evil. More like he's more of the antagonist in Night, more not a villain.
I mean, I see him more as like stubborn in that
Passive
way.
aggressive about it, saying, "So you come crawling back, huh?" And Sonic maybe be doing a little bit of a kind of like being a little sarcastic, trying to make a little light of it. Like, well,
Yeah.
funny coming from you, huh? I think both did.
Yeah.
Or Riella would steal some medical supplies or something to heal himself, or
Yeah, there probably wouldn't be anything like that because Zergo would basically have like these, kind of like these traps. Some of them would look like exits, doors that basically like trap doors, stuff. Basically, booby traps, things that'll give you false hope. Like
Pretty
basically,
much.
picture something that looks like a plate of food, then the food would just turn into a monster or something. And
Uh-huh.
try to, yeah.
But yeah. They both pretty much take refuge in an abandoned house.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say it's quiet for a bit, but then they have a moment of, well, just talking about
Okay.
what happened and such.
Yeah.
And actually, for the first time in a while, Sonic actually, when he admits things, he actually starts to be, well, all this happening, you expect him to stay strong forever? No. For the first time in a while, he actually admits his weaknesses and
Mm-hmm.
just, he admits he's terrified, including
Mm-hmm.
with those types of tears, you know.
Anyone.
Yeah. And Rialan was actually surprised because he never expected Sonic, who was very optimistic and cocky and such, to actually show that in front of him. But he's not mocking him, rather just surprised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, well, let's just say Riella admits that while he is a general and such, it's a lot of work and how hard of a task it can really be, especially when you serve under a god.
Yeah.
And just how much physical scars can actually leave, but also mental scars.
True.
Now, it's not like Riella fully admits that what he was doing was wrong. He just practically admitted that it's just hard to serve someone who's very much above your league. And also the very person who created you.
So it's basically a sign of respect.
Yes. What do you think, Shadow, about this little ideal of this heart-to-heart moment?
It might be similar to, in a way, I want to say it's similar to how either in other forms of media, like where Goku and Vegeta learn to respect each other, or it can be in a way without any manipulation whatsoever, Silver and Sonic becoming friends
Yes.
without Mephiles and stuff.
Mm-hmm. By the way, that's something Ty basically is doing with his series. He's making Mephiles the main villain, which I approve of.
I mean, I love the guy too.
Let's just be honest, he's the only other villain that actually is confident enough.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, screw off Zavok. We don't need you.
You're overused.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Yeah, they just over rely on that.
Yes. Now, in the meanwhile, with Tails and Knights, they do eventually meet up with Eggman, and, well, it just goes as you expect. They're basically asking questions, but Eggman ain't talking fully. In fact, he was probably confused on what he meant by what was going on, what he meant was Sonic. Like, he has no clue as to where Sonic is. But he's also not going to reveal what his master plan is. So yeah, you get boss fights with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, Tails and Knights, they have the more fun, adventurous side with a bit of seriousness to it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, so far, it actually works.
Yeah, and sometimes Tails would duelize with Knights in order to add an extra damaging boost.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's actual moments where, and let's just say Tails, he is worried sick about Sonic. And just like any kid, he would just feel alone and scared. And yeah, he's got that type of weakness and, actually get upset. But Knights is there to comfort him.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest here, that's just an adorable image.
Of course.
I mean, Tails even flat out says that you kind of remind me of Sonic. And Knights is like, really now? And how do I seem like that? Because he's technically like my brother. Knights basically gets it, and they just have a moment where they basically just talk a bit about, and Knights does mention about Riella, just doesn't say his name.
Yeah.
I used to have a brother. We used to be best friends. Used to? What happened? We had different ideals, and we went our separate ways. And now, we don't really see each other like that anymore. I just wish he could see things my way. I'm sure he'll come around at some point. You shouldn't give up on him. If you believe, maybe. I'm not really the best to give advice for that, but something like that ought to help. Yeah, they both help each other.
Dynamic and all that.
Yeah, just the idea. It's just heartwarming. It's just wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there is going to be a little bit of some humor and such, but kind of childlike, like innocent. Though there is a point where Tails actually questioned about, just slightly, about NiGHTS is gender and such, and NiGHTS just waves it off, pretty much saying, "Oh, don't worry about it." Yeah, that makes sense. And Tails doesn't bring it up at first, okay?
Yeah, it's complicated, to put it.
Yeah, Tails gets it, so he doesn't ask any
Oh,
further. Don't worry, there's no.
yeah.
Don't worry, the story does not contain politics, nor does it contain entitlements or such.
It doesn't really matter. But yeah, it basically doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this is literally Sega themed. So yeah, Real and Sonic, after pretty much a well rest and such, they're back out and continuing onward.
Mhm.
That's and Zodak basically has the plan going smoothly, and he knows that Eggman isn't too far away with completing it.
Of course. And you could say that, well, it would mostly, you could say it only benefits him, not Eggman.
Yes.
And basically, if I could spoil a tiny bit of it, basically
Go
what he's. Sorry.
go ahead.
Basically, what Zorgo wants is basically Eggman to create a device, unknowingly supposed to be called a reality ripper, supposed to be something like that to help Zorgo increase his uh, his effect onto the waking real world. He can't affect the real world, but if he's able to get this device that Eggman's building for him, with Eggman not knowing about it, because Eggman thinks it's going to be under his control, but as soon as he gets double crossed, Zorgo will finally be able to enter the waking true world and take over.
Yes, and no one can stop him because because he's some sort of entity.
Which was sealed away in this pocket world, which he was banished eons ago by another higher being, due to how dangerous he was.
Mm-hmm. He took the
Yes,
image of Sonic because he's heard so much about this heroic hedgehog. That explains why he looks so much like him.
of course, and also to somewhat mock him in a way.
Yes. You see? You see, people? This is how Sonic EXE should have been. You know, a bit more of the mocking term. But no, the Sonic EXE, everyone basically knows is literally just a fanboy. You guys have any things to add on that?
I don't know, but so far it holds water.
Okay.
Yeah, it has purpose.
Yeah. Well, okay. So yeah, the time they actually do meet their destination and such, they do actually meet. They do meet the mastermind behind it.
Mm-hmm. Finally deciding, as a way of finally showing himself, and to someone giving them a congrats for surviving this long. Only so many poor souls have only made it this, barely could even reach this far. I have to congratulate you. In a more condescending and very, my language, dickish way.
It's okay. And boy, oh boy. Let's just
But
say both are just fed up with this. They do not want to. They basically they just want to go home.
yes, try attacking him, but realizing how powerful he is. He even flaunts the idea, saying that if I wanted to, I would have destroyed you all, just like that. But I've only let you live this long because I wanted you to.
What is this? So what? You're treating us like we were some sort of game or something?
Exactly. You can say it gets rather bold here. I have been. Do you know how long I have been trapped in this prison? Longer than anything else. Longer than time. You have it. Sometimes I want to change things up. Maybe add a few playmates. And let's just say you've really spiced things up. No one has ever reached this far, and I have to say, but at this point, it feels like it's already growing bored. Bored of you. Say goodbye. And I think it's time to end this game. Once and for all.
Of course. Yeah, it is definitely a fight sequence.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel as though Sonic actually did pick up something really early on that could seem to be helpful, and that's some sort of holy item.
Basically, you could say that the ones that prisons are go away for all this time left some sort of strategic plans in case that he ever tried to escape. His, you could say,
Yes,
jailers. Put
it
in.
definitely worked.
Yeah. But you can
But
say that Zergo knows about them, but scattered them around. Scattered them around just to say, like, but why would he? Couldn't he just destroy these? He can't. He can't destroy these items, so all he can do is hide them and make it as
it's
challenging as.
like it's like the equivalency of Discord and the elements of harmony. He can't
Yeah.
destroy them, but all he can do is hide them.
Yeah. And also say that, well, make it a little fun, why don't we?
Yes.
It's
But also by the time Sonic and Riella, they did get those rings off of them because of those items.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was also basically kind of like a little fetch quest.
Yeah.
That's the reason why Sonic needed Riella for some of those parts, just to also get those items. Now they kind of questioned it at first, during early on. It's like, what's
Yeah.
this? Looks somewhat important,
Yeah.
don't you think?
There's altogether there are 7 of them, and they all have to be put together to finish this artifact.
Yes.
Separate, they're useless, but together they'll be able to could be used to make basically Zergo basically make him not immortal, something before vulnerable.
Yes. But by the time Eggman had already finished the machine and the portal is opening.
And at this point, as they collect each one, you can tell that Zergo is basically cocky and very smug attitude starts shifting a little more and more, and gets more agitated and angry. Eventually, to the point where because he's knowing that this game, his time is almost up.
Of course, you want to know a little something?
Yeah.
Here's something. You know that one moment in Sonic the Black Knight where Sonic is confronting the Dark Queen?
Yeah.
And how she just had Caliburn slashed in half. Well, let's just say, yeah, Xeno. Let's just say this evil demon. He basically was basically attacking more on Sonic, and yeah, Riella did have a weakened point, but he still was more strong enough to actually act as like that shield.
True.
Persistent jester, aren't you? Allow me to separate that power source. And yeah, sliced him there in the yeah, midsection, you could say.
True.
And that, yeah.
Yeah. And by that time, the portal would open, realizing his chance to finally be free. But you could say that almost in a form of vigor, Sonic would basically stop him as holding him back as long as possible.
Yes. Of course, Sonic basically. of course, Sonic had to get through that portal. If he doesn't, then he would be trapped there too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He does make it out. And well, he does actually meet up with Tails and Knights. Yeah, it's basically a short reunion, but it's the most Sonic has ever needed.
True.
But yeah.
It's not over yet.
And Eggman, yeah, he sees what's going on, and that's just like, oh, not good.
And trying to shut the portal, but it's basically the thing causing a bit of an implosion, sucking everyone inside, causing basically the final battle.
Yep.
Yes.
Basically, finally having enough fish, finally showing everyone his true form, or what's closest to it. Enraged, angered, realizing that I've had enough of this stupid game. I think it's finally time we bring an end to this stupid charade.
Well, and
And I will
also,
show you, and I will show you the true meaning of suffering.
now, on the meanwhile, Tails and Knights, they have been also gathering the Chaos Emeralds.
Of course.
But there's only one problem. One is actually missing that Eggman basically had, but before Eggman could get away, he was blasted by some sort of sphere, and lo and behold, Riella. It's like, what? But I saw they were slashed in the I thought you were slashed in half. How are you alive? Silly hedgehog. Do you not realize that nightmares are built differently compared to you? I just happen to recover much more quicker than you think. I believe this is what you needed. Yeah, he just has the Chaos Emerald.
Of course. Thus it begins.
Yes. And let's just, you know how Sonic had like the golden armor and such, and Caliburn turned into Excalibur and such?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that.
Of course.
It's
All four coming together.
Yeah, there we Super Tails.
We never really see rarely at all.
Yes.
Thus begins the final battle between this demonic being. Basically saying, I have grown so close to freedom, and yet I will not let you take this away from me. I will not let you take this away from me.
Of course, they'll just practically fight.
Of course. As soon as reaching to a weakened state enough, the portal is about to close again permanently, able to escape just in time, screaming in pure rage and anger. Curse you all. Before
Taste the
feeling
true power of chivalry.
Yes.
Thus, basically everything seems to be back to normal.
Yes. And, well, they're just relieved that it's all over.
And a little bit of a joke with basically seeing that Eggman feeling rather just not really saying, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go away and plan for my next time. Like, farewell, this leap of a huff. Saying that, well, I help too. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'll probably attack you all and try to take over Mobius next time. Just kind of like, okay, see you around, Egghead.
Yeah. And exchanges, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Sonic has a catch up with Knights. And it's just like deja vu. But then, well, Sonic glances over to see that Briella, he does actually show a smile. Not like a malicious one. like an actual genuine one.
Mm-hmm.
And this is more of respect rather than, it's,
Or like I said, like, well, I was wrong about you, kind of way.
yes. You really do remind me of NiGHTS. But he does give advice, too. Surprisingly. Just don't lose those you deeply care about.
Yeah.
It'll be your worst mistake that you'll regret later. I don't plan to.
Yeah.
Yes, Riella, I can smile.
Yes.
Seen him do it before. It's not that hard. And also, unlike how most people would portray Riella, he can't say certain words like say please. He does pretty much he does actually have those words.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, it's not that hard. It's not like he's not, look, he's not edgy, okay?
Yeah, that's not his thing. It's more like dark, mysterious, while having a very much form of refinement.
Mm-hmm.
Just professional of what he does.
Yes.
Professionalism.
He's a
All have
dream
it,
demon.
of course.
I mean, and yes, Sonic and Riella, they do have some banter between each other. Some could be of just boasting. Some could actually just be just kind of friendly banter. Or even just flat out just having some sense of humor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the reason? So, are you wearing tights, or are those? Should I ask? Same can be said about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, touche. Slow clap.
Yep. And let's just say NiGHTS catches glimpses of this, and even they're just a bit confused, but at the same time, they're at least relieved to know that Riella wasn't being too harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Riella does have a bit of some talking with NiGHTS, and it's not on heated terms. And that they would have to return back to the dream world.
Of course.
And yeah, NiGHTS bids the two to a farewell, and that they will meet again. And well, with Riella, you could probably take a wild guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the whole idea of this NiGHTS and Sonic crossover that basically had some elements from Sonic and the Black Knight to pretty much the Sonic EXE approach and what it
Yeah.
could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Yeah.
know what you guys think of the idea.
For me, it does hold water pretty well.
I just want to make sure that it works.
Yeah. Some things could be edited here and there, but that's basically an idea. You build upon it.
You think this is way better than shall we say any cringy fan who tried?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I did. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, it could be done better.
Look, you know what I mean by that.
I know, true. I mean, like it's not that hard to make a scary version, a scary Sonic game. It's not that hard.
It's just you have to have elements that work.
Yes, you have to make it work. You have to have pacing. You have to have something that actually makes sense, and it's not over the top.
Yes.
It's something called balance.
Yes.
Basically, it's kind of like making a pie. You need, yeah, I know it's weird to explain it like that, but basically, you need the right amount of ingredients. If one thing is overdone, it will end up ruining the whole thing.
Oh, looky here. Glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give scenarios with, characters basically interacting with each other as well as the environment around them.
Yeah. Other things you could have also say that maybe there's points where it seems like it's normal, then over time it gets corrupted. Like you could say two sides of it just start warping around. It could be saying like that. But you would say that when Sonic EXE does it, it's just always follows all these cliches. Blood, guts, dead bodies. It's just over the
Yeah.
top.
Oh, and don't forget hyper realistic.
Like yeah, it's basically like ooh, basically saying a plushie. Really, a plushie? You could have done something a little more. He could have did something a little more creepy, saying like a very almost realistic like version of Sonic. Just looks all decrepit looking, all dirty and matted, coming right behind him, covering the mouth and basically whispering, "So you ready for round two?"
Yeah. But
That
yeah,
could have been done a little
seriously.
more better.
But yeah, seriously. It led up to a freaking Sonic Flash! Yeah,
Yes,
no.
yes. Even in the sequel, he even says that even JC, you can't try to retcon saying that oh the plush is basically his eyes and ears in our world.
Seriously. You know what I will have to say about. You want to know what I did better? What I basically planned better?
Yeah,
Riella's Heart. That my very first creepypasta. I never once said anything about a plush or this being a haunted game.
yeah,
It's basically supernatural work.
true.
And that this is like a. I actually go into a bit more details as to how the actual characters basically witness what's going on.
Yeah,
As in, the game is like their eyes, and they're paying attention to the player.
true.
That works way better than a freaking plushie.
Yeah,
And this is the information they get. And with Riala, it just makes too much more sense. Or any character who or in this way, any character that has his name attached to it, he's able to see through their eyes. You know those peepholes you actually see in shows and such. It's like that.
true.
No, there's no Tails doll, although that could be like a cameo in this little project idea.
Yes, but not really an evil thing. More or
Yeah,
less,
that's more of Eggman's robot.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not a demon this time.
Like
Yeah,
These
it's just
guys,
the whole Tails doll meme monster creepy stuff. I never really
Oh, you want to know
cared
something?
much for.
That was also a thing in the Sonic Archie comics,
yeah.
where
If we
it
re-
turns into this strange monster thing.
yes, it
Yeah,
turns into a strange eldritch.
I rolled my eyes when I saw that.
It could have
That
been.
made no sense.
They could have made it a little more interesting, saying the thing basically able to move around on its own, and it has a few gadgets built into it, like ironically saying it has laser eyes.
Because it's a robot. It's just meant to look like a doll.
Yes, and
Because
they could have said like say the thing basically also says little cute things before it tries to kill you, saying that
Yeah,
like, I love
and
saying oh what is it gonna do hug me to death, and then having lasers shoot out of its eyes.
it was also made by Eggman. Eggman made this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
But want to know what the irony is? The fact this is an official Sonic character and Sonic EXE isn't.
which I have to say is I think that's actually a good thing because
I mean, when I think of Tails doll, I just think of those dolls from the one mission from
Yeah,
Sonic
Sonic
Adventure, where
well,
Gamma
it's
has
Sonic
to go
R.
destroy. Well, that too, but or we could go to the Terminator route, and it's just like some giant robot in disguise. That totally doesn't sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but
That flop you asshole.
Buff you asshole.
I'll be back.
Yeah, why does it make me think of the whole thing of being somehow to somehow the thing just blowing up, kind of like that weird buff version of Winnie the Pooh, like that, but the head's
Oh
still the
god,
same.
no, we ain't doing that. Like, yeah.
Because
Like, where this is
doing
going.
that, the
So-
goes like, flop you asshole, that punch.
So, the idea with the character dynamics and such. What do you
Work.
honestly think?
I like it.
Are there any ideas you think of what could happen with these guys and their team ups?
I don't know. I guess like encountering other characters. The whole, I guess you say some cameos here and there. The Chaotix being introduced, saying that looking for Sonic, but not really, but not having a bit of a cold lead, looking in the wrong place.
Yes.
And basically at the end credits would show them still looking a bit somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
It's like,
It's still not aware.
Charmy, where are
I
we?
know we're on the case. I get feeling it. Like I think we've already really done cold end. Don't worry. I know we're close. I can feel it in my guts.
And for and just for random stuff. Okay, just for a random thing, Sonic just runs some. Hey, Team Chaotix. Oh,
It's like, oh hi Sonic. It's like, we're looking for you, man. That's it.
oh, looky here.
Oh,
Yeah. See what I mean?
it's something different. It's not and the villain actually makes sense.
This is their world. This is how they work. This is how they function.
Isn't it actually? And you could say that there's some lore that could include how he got there. Basically, you could say that who was that? Maybe some other beings did, like Memphis, could be somewhat related to this.
I don't know. I don't know.
You could be saying, but one of them that did help seal him away long ago, but only knows of little, or basically aware of this being.
I think it would be interesting to have like the egg bosses have their like cameos.
True.
Like they could actually be like, say, you can interact with them slightly, but it has to be Knights and not Tails because he's a freedom fighter and all.
Yes, and basically it's like we don't really hate him. It's more like we're just following orders.
Yeah, especially Axel.
Just
or Congress Storm, who really, really doesn't appreciate the mentioning of Sonic because of what happened and such. And when you think about it, technically Sonic had a lot of people possibly killed during that. Ooh. And he's supposed to be the good guy?
Yeah, so you could say that he probably feels regret about that.
But we never see that.
Yeah, they could have done that a little more, saying that he does have, guilt about it.
Yes.
And basically tries to hide that guilt, and while at the same time, when they both do fight, he was actually showing that he does feel regret. Could have shown later on. They could have done that.
But nope, it's Ian Flynn.
Yeah, basically just one-dimensional. I mean, they could have done that, but let's just say that isn't it kind of funny when passionate fans are actually able to make better stuff than mainstream ever does at this point?
Heck, even I basically. Oh, by the way, I have a little something that fans probably don't know, but I have a little something that I have, and I don't know why this is basically not the normal camera, but
what?
Hang on.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, and it's not the EXE one.
It's actual Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey!
Fun fact.
I have
also,
a
fun
classic
fact.
Jazzware Sonic plush.
Yeah, fun fact, everyone. Did you actually know that me and Reptile here did an abridged reading of Sonic EXE?
Yes. And you just made him a freaking Fortnite goer.
Yeah, it's basically a cringy, furry / it's almost like a mixture of a Fortnite, Redditor, basically creepy and weird. Kind of like, it's basically kind of like, it's like, oh, do you want it, boy? Oh, what are we driving, boy? Oh.
Yes. Yes.
So many souls, so little time. Are we all having fun? Ooh.
It's like,
yeah, it's basically constantly having that ooh face, RXD.
Oh, if you want to know something, Oh, if you probably want to know, there's literally a channel where they're called Team Uwu.
Oh my god.
Sonic Tails and Pals and such, and I'm gonna admit this. I mean, sometimes they can be funny. Other times, I feel as though it's kind of forced, or just paying off the homage of stereotyping, like Amy, who's an obsessed fangirl, and all just thirsty for Sonic, or Rouge literally is that kind of agent and such. Shadow's basically kind of a grump.
Yeah.
Knuckles is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Sonic kinda, except let's just say kinda. I'd say kinda-ish, I guess. And Tails, honestly, Tails is kind of annoying. I mean, there are
Yeah.
points you kind of feel bad. Other times it's like you kind of deserved it.
Yeah. You have, but yet, as much as Sonic Boom gets hate, there's actually a lot of good quotes. A lot of good quotes.
Even though some of the quotes were basically references.
Yeah, one of the quotes.
And also,
one of the quotes out of context actually made me laugh, saying, "Hey, this wool tastes like dirt," and a bunch of clones started licking it. And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, I know. I saw that. That was weird.
Me and my friends after we get high.
Okay. Anywho's. So the idea, you never thought you'd see Sonic actually teaming up with Riella, that being a concept. I mean, I've seen plenty of pictures that people draw Sonic with knights, but what if it was mainly with Riella?
Mixing it up.
Yeah. And honestly, I like that idea. I really did like the idea. It works, and it definitely would make some sense. They would play off each other really well. It'd be just like what happened in Black Knight, except, Riel is basically your partner.
True.
And also Sonic, he actually goes through some things, including character growth.
True.
How did you think I handled the idea with Sonic and how he's being put in this situation?
Well, it's pretty accurate. I mean, anyone would basically feel like they're obligated to go back to the people they care about while trying to keep their cool in a situation they feel like they can't get their way out of.
Yeah, and the only other who isn't a resident of that world is Riella, and he's from another world, but he seems to understand certain elements and such, including how one would actually have their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows negative emotions when he sees it.
Of course, you could say.
I don't think he possesses that ability like Lance does.
Yeah, you could say that nightmares and other beings can sense emotions from other beings.
It explains how Knights was able to know too.
Of course, they were originally created to be able to. That's how they gain the trust of their visitors, and then get the idiot out of them.
First levels are the most intelligent and really required to do this.
Of course, they don't do it out of hatred. They don't do it out of spite. They just do it because just following orders. Maybe a few of them actually. Yeah, a few of them do it because they love it.
Uh-huh.
It varies.
Now,
Real is more professional about it.
And the way he just handles things with just talking smoothly about things, it works. Honestly, he does it way better than the modern Shadow would.
Yeah. Even back then, Shadow actually did have more complexity. Basically didn't just go running in without a plan. He did know his limits. He wouldn't just go blindly in.
Yeah, and he doesn't flat out. Yes, he does say he's the ultimate life form, but not often.
Yeah, it's basically because, I am the ultimate life form. I just don't need to constantly validate myself for it.
Yes.
I let my actions speak for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Emriella doesn't say his title.
Of course.
Because he feels it's not necessary, because they know he looks really dangerous.
If you're constantly just saying your title all the time, it kind of comes off pretentious and egotistic.
Which is something Riella never is.
Of course. He does get that smugness, but it actually goes into the character, and it's
Yes.
justified.
Now, if you pay kind of attention, everyone who has played tennis and did All Stars Racing and such, you can see that Knights of Riala, they're not at all fighting each other. They're just more of just playing the sport. They're just having a good time.
In a
I
way,
guess as though when they're outside the dream realm and such, they actually can handle being on each other's grounds and call it like a truce.
yes, and having some friendly rivalry over it.
Yeah, they could actually have that. And I really hated how Ian Flynn just wrote those two.
Yeah, just sometimes you need someone else to write. Sometimes you need someone else's input.
Yeah, someone who knows these guys.
Yeah, basically, it kind of reeks of I don't know any of these characters, but they're from Sega. I'm just gonna skim through the wiki, and there I go, I'm done. And it doesn't really matter. Even if I don't really skim. I don't skim it, but lol, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna write wherever I know. It doesn't
Seriously,
matter. I'm in
Sonic.
control.
Seriously, Knights acted a bit too much like Sonic and less like himself, and Riala was behaving way too much like Shadow. If I know something, Riala isn't a grump. Why does everyone think Riala's a grump? He obviously isn't.
I think it might be the tone of voice, because
Honestly, if I know Riala, he does not sound that grumpy.
Yeah, only if you get on his nerves.
Yes, he would get annoyed or something like that. But he's never angry unless you hit him in the triggers, like the right triggers.
But yes, if you get under his skin, even though he gets under skin, it varies.
Yes.
It matters like what really gets under his skin.
And also, Knights would never team up with Riala, considering they're in the same dimension, and they are on grounds of their territories.
Yes.
Also, Riala and Knights never fought in the Dream Gate. That's not a battle location. It's just a hub world. Yes, Riala did ambush Knights, but that's all he did. He didn't attack Knights. Not fully. It was just to grab him. And Knights did not expect that because Riala is using force. Now, I like to think this. Knights and Riala, their collars are basically the equivalency of keeping them under control. Like, you grip onto them and you have a good firm, they can't do anything. That kind of puts them in a weakened state. Or some sort of stunned state. They can kind of move, but they're not going to move. It's a way to get their attention.
Yeah. Why does it also make me think about, this grabbing the scruff of a cat's neck will cause it to basically go into somewhat like a... You ever seen that kind of thing where someone put a towel clip on its neck, kind of like a scruff of its neck, and it just ends up to stop moving? Remove it, turns back on.
Yeah, that's basically how I feel. They're kind of like cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, why else do you think I made Riel into a tiger Mobian? Makes sense. Knights, I kind of made him a dragon because, the whole opposites.
Strangely enough, I was picking up a cat or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, I was picking like a domestic cat or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But not going to hold Cheshire Cat.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a picture where Knights was kind of the Cheshire Cat.
Strangely, if you really think about it, do you think that the design of Knights was kind of inspired by the Cheshire Cat or something?
I guess in ways, yeah, he's a trickster, but he is meaning to help, even if it is the rather ironic way.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
What do you pretty much think, Shadow, about the ideal of what the story was and characters? Do you think it works or justified?
I mean, it works. Some people would probably want more.
But sometimes you kind of don't want to get too much.
Exactly.
And you put too much. because the old saying, "Too many cooks spoil the broth."
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, that's kind of the thing with Balan Wonderworld. I will pretty much say this clearly. It's basically it's doing what it's trying to show and what it's trying to tell. It's a story that I think people might actually like and enjoy and find it charming.
Sometimes you have to sometimes lower your expectations to a reasonable amount.
Yeah, I've done that many times. There's a lot of stuff that people say is negative, and I go in with a positive outlook sometimes.
And you basically played Balan, the demo at least. And let me ask you this, Shadow. What did you think of the demo?
At first, when I went blind, I didn't know what to expect, and I mean, the whole music number thing after the boss caught me by surprise, and the fact that they manipulate adults or people for these kids to save.
Well, basically with Balan, he is there to help in a way.
I mean, the opening, it didn't seem like he was trying to help. It was just like making like jokes and just giving these kids like a nightmare, but really he's trying to help.
Yeah, that's something NiGHTS does too. And he's a maestro. He's the director. He's making sure that his guests and visitors are safe in the way.
And while at the same time, Bland is supposed to represent the dark, kind of represents that the darkness, kind of like that doubt, that darkness inside of us. While both of them not really clash, it's more like balance between that. It's kind of like raising your expectations and making sure they're not too high. And
they basically, it's not just balance, but they represent drama too. Basically, the happy and sad masks.
Yes.
And it works.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been to theater before. I've actually been on a stage before and such, way back then. And let's just say, I definitely know what it's like. I don't know. I have a charm for it.
Yeah, not really for me. I've never been on stage, and it just doesn't seem something for me. I would just choke up and just.
I was more of a sideliner.
Yeah. I kind of regret not doing it in school. I tried way too hard to be an artist, and I gave up.
Yeah, if I ever wanted to actually try to be a part of a school play, I would actually, if I was allowed to, I would try to improvise.
Yeah,
okay.
I somewhat do
with some questionable results.
You're saying Shadow?
Basically, I tend to do improv, but usually you usually have to play off the people that you have with you to make it somewhat good.
Yeah. Now, if I may ask, what do you honestly think of the designs of the characters?
Well, what I can say is, well, they're quite unique. They're not too overly detailed. They're short, and sweet, to the point, and actually very well made. There's a lot of passion put into it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say, Shadow?
I mean, I think he said a few of the things that I thought I mixed certain characters from past stuff when I did the demo, but yeah, Balan looks awesome, and I definitely like the enemies. Makes me think of some of the like larger enemies who spit out dark creatures, like in Sonic Unleashed for Lance.
Yeah, and he's the one blocking your way sometimes.
Yeah, and I was expecting to have a harder moment trying to fight the wolf boss, but
it's just more of you just got to get the flow of it.
Yeah,
it's the first boss, so it's understanding.
Yeah.
And I think they spoiled most of the bosses and stuff.
Yeah. And mind you, most of these bosses are actually other people that are dealing with their own problems, and their forms represent their struggle, their inner demon, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
That almost, that almost sounds like out of Persona when you think about it. I mean, there are certain characters that basically have their shadows and they turn into monsters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Well, all I can pretty much say is I definitely look forward to, I look forward to when the game comes out, and I know I'll have a good time.
I will too if I ever decide to put the game on YouTube.
I know I will. But first things first, I gotta upload. Well, I gotta finish uploading Nights, and
Yeah.
I have to finish my Pokemon LP.
I need to do that too, and I'm gonna do the DLC for it.
Yeah, I'll do it at some point. But right now, I think this is good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting late.
Well, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed this, and stay tuned for tomorrow. I will be talking about the Persona approach. This is Regular 95. I'll see you all later.
Yeah. See you all later. Have a good night.
Yep. And
Oh.
stay safe.
And one more thing. Pleasant nightmares, everyone.
Oh boy.
Sleep with one eye open.
Okay.